So in this video, we're going to be working on updating and deleting a post. As you can see, we have the post listing page and we have the post show page. So what we need to work on in this video is the delete and editing of a post. So if we click on editing now, we can work with ng models two-way data binding to update and delete this post. As you can see, it's updated real time. And if we click on update button now, the page redirects to the post listing page, and we can also reload the page, and we can also delete that. And take note of the ID. If we click on delete now, the post is gone, and if we check the terminal to confirm, we see that the delete action works and the update action also works. So that's what we're going to be working on in this video. So the first thing we need to do is to create the update and delete action, which is the update and destroy, as you see there in our Rails application. After that, you can go ahead and copy that. So after that, we go into our post service, we close right out of that, and we go into the post service and create the necessary actions to execute this task. So in the post service file, we're going to do some refactoring of our code. We need to remove the options and the header variables from inside the create post, since we're going to be needing that in the update and delete functions. So we need to declare that as a global variable, and we need to also inject that into the program in the constructor. So we declare the header variable and the options as an instance of request option, and then we Control X that, we cut that from inside the create post function and paste that into the constructor. For us to have access to the global declared instance, we need to use this, and we do the same with the options, and we go ahead and do that everywhere that we already had the header and the options declared. And for this one as well. So once we're done with that, the next thing we need to do is to create the delete function, which uses the delete HTTP function from Angular to delete the post. In this video, I'm going to be showing you guys two different ways to have an access to the instance of an object coming from the API. So if we go into our terminal and we use the function Rails routes, we can see the routes that is already provided to us by Rails, and we can see that we can address a post by its ID for us to be able to delete it and update it. So we need to have an access to the instance of the ID. So going back to our delete post function, we're going to be using the delete function provided by Angular to delete every post from our API. And the way to do that is to first of all declare a constant URL which takes the value of the URL of the post. Using the backtick function, we can get the value of the ID as well. And now we can return the post using the delete function that takes two parameters of the URL and the options. So using the map function from observables, we also need to extract the data as well as catch some errors in case there will be an error. We're going to go ahead and create the extract data function and also create the function that will handle the error for us. So once we got that out of the way, we can go ahead now and create the update post function. And in this update post function, I'm going to intentionally pass in the post instance as the parameter. The reason being that I would like to show you guys two different ways to get the instance of a post. And what simply we need to do now is copy the URL, since we're using exactly the same URL to update the post. And the put function also works just like the post function. So it takes in three parameters, which is the URL and the stringified post, as well as the options, the request options that we are going to use to get this post. So we do the same thing, map it, and also write exactly the same function just the way we have done in the create, except this one is for update. That's why it's using the put function from the HTTP Angular library. So we've created delete, update functions in the post service. Let's go ahead now and use it in our component file. Since we're going to be editing and deleting the post in the show page, the perfect place to use the functions that we created in the post service is inside the post-show.component.ts file. So we go there, create a variable error message, and also create a boolean variable for edit button clicked, and we create an update function which is going to be speaking directly to the update post from the post service, as well as the delete function, which is going to be speaking directly to the delete post that we created in the post service. So let's work first on the delete. So in this delete function, we're going to be working with the post services delete post, and we're going to be speaking to the post ID using this .post.id, and we subscribe to whatever data that gets returned, and also give a second parameter for subscribe and hero. After that is done, we can go ahead and also develop our update function, which also takes an instance of post with the function from post service, which is update post. And we also need to make sure that here the boolean function we declared earlier, did.edit click button, is set to true, and we also return true for subscribe parameter and also an error. For us to be able to use the observable to throw an error, we also need to import the observable. So once the update and delete is created, let's go ahead and create the buttons for updating and deleting. And now after we're done with that, now is the perfect time to start our Rails server and our Angular server. So once we've started that, we go to the browser and refresh our page. Now we can view our post, and if we go to the post show page, we'll be able to see our buttons showing already. Another thing we would want to use in this tutorial is the console of our browser in Google Chrome. If you right click, you will be able to get the console. The reason why we need that is for us to have access to updates on the events of our click. So we need to be able to address the update and the delete to listen to a click event. So we create a click event for delete, and first of all, let's copy and paste the buttons inside this div for us to be able to have access to the ngIf post instance that is up there in line 1. So we create a click event for delete, we attach that to a click event and pass in the post from line 1, and we also need to give that a quotation and then pass in the click event. We do the same for update as well, And if we go ahead and test now, the delete should work. Like let's go ahead and delete the post now. So we delete this post of ID 12. If we refresh the page, we'll see that the post is gone, but it did not redirect. And when we refresh the page, it returns an error. It's gone. Let's try it out with another post again. So we try and delete the post now. As if we check the terminal, we'll see that the post has been deleted. And if we do the same for this post of ID 11, we click on delete, and if we refresh the page, it's gone again, but it returns an error in the console. So what is happening here is that we need to find a way to redirect the page once the post has been deleted. So we'll go back to the post show component file, and the first thing we need to do is to add router library into the imported functions that we have there. So we import the router and we pass that into the constructor. We're also going to need a return URL to be declared as a string, which is going to be where we save the URL to which our page will redirect once the post has been deleted. Next, let's pass our router into the constructor. So in the ng-on-init function, we use the router that we just created to get a snapshot of the page that we're located, and we assign that to the return URL that we declared up there. We get the snapshot of the page and we'll use that with the URL of our post. So this post URL will now be saved in our return URL, and we can go ahead and use that inside the delete function. So what we do is delete this return true and use the return URL function in there, the return URL variable I mean. And using the router again, we use that to navigate, and then we can navigate to this return URL by passing it into the navigate function. And now let's go back to our browser and try out if when we delete the post now, it should redirect to the post page, post listing page. So let's view the post, click on delete, and now that post is gone. This post again, and now you see it's gone. And if we go to the terminal now, we'll see that if we check, our delete is working. The post with the ID 9 is deleted. So now that our delete is working, we need to now work on our update. If we go back to the browser and check, try to maybe edit the post, for example. Let's check the browser, view a post, click on edit, and we have an error. One reason that I remembered that produces this error is that we forgot we are passing in the ID of that post instead of the instance of the post itself. And we can confirm that by going into the component file, and we see that we're passing in the ID. What we actually need to be passing there is the post, not the ID. If we check in the post service file, we'll see if in the update we passed in the post, but in the delete we passed in the ID. So that's why we need to pass in the post instance and not the ID. So let's go ahead and change that. We change it to post. And if we go to the browser now and try to click on delete, click on edit, I mean, it should not return that error anymore. But yeah, we clicked on edit. It landed on the database, but nothing happened. Because of course, for us to be able to delete or edit something, I mean, for us to be able to edit a post, we need a form, and we don't have any form yet. So what we are going to be working on next now is that form. As I mentioned earlier, the Update and create function is almost the same. So it means we can use the same logic that we used to create the posts or during our previous videos. We can use that same form to also update, except this time we don't need the ng on submit. We only need to create the template variable for the form, and we do every other things that we've been doing before. We don't need the ng submit. We only create the template variable and pass in the ng form, and everything else just goes the same. Now if we go ahead to the browser and refresh and click on edit, for example, you see now that we can already edit the post. If we put some value there, we also have access to the two-way data binding. And if we click on update post now and go back to viewing all the posts, we will see that the post will already be updated. But we also have the same problem from before, in that we edit a post and nothing happens. It's just stuck. You're not sure if your post is updated or not. So one thing we need to be able to do now is also on click of update, we need to be able to redirect the page to general post. And if we check our terminal, we'll see that this query is getting to the database, to the API. So our post is basically being updated. But we need to find a way to redirect the page once the post has already been updated. So to do that, we create an on update clicked function. What this does is it listens for the update button to be clicked, and now that we're already sure that once we click the update button, the post will be updated, and what needs to be done is to redirect the page once the post is updated. Here we can pass in the router.navigate function just as we did before, and the page will be redirected. But another thing we also need to do is to make sure that edit button clicked is also passed as false. So that the reason why we need to do that is so that we will be able to edit the same post over and over again. Because if we don't do this, we will only be able to edit it once. You can go ahead and try it on your own. So let's go to the browser now. And another thing, before we go to the browser, another thing we need to do as well is to pass in that function into the click event on update clicked. So we'll close that off and save that, go to the browser, and we can already test that out. So now we're at the browser, and if we try to edit the post now, we will be able to edit, update, and once our update is done, we're basically going to be redirected. So let's update this post right away. And you see, it's updated and it's redirected just the way we need it to do. So that's it for this tutorial. We're basically done. We can delete, we can update, and we can do everything we want. Also, if you need to work on reloading your page, maybe once the update button is clicked, I've decided to put that as a bonus. I don't know why you would want to use this in a single page application, but if there would ever be a need for you to reload your page, you can use the window.location.reload function, which is, I think, from Angular. This one is not from Angular, I think it's from JavaScript. So if we try to edit the post now, and then click on update, the post will redirect, and after it has redirected, it will reload the page. So, but I don't think you would need that, so let's just comment it out. And that's basically it for this tutorial. We've been able to work on everything that is required for us to do a CRUD operation, to create, update, delete. This is basically it. You can apply everything you've learned here to any project out there, because we all work with forms. In all of our project, like 70 to 80% of most of our project is based on working with forms. So you can use all the skills you've learned here to do something else. You can, if you want to learn how to connect your Angular application to an API, you have that right here in this tutorial series. So thanks for watching. I'm glad I've been also challenged myself to do the researches and making this video. So I'm happy to do this. So I hope that you learned something, and if you love my video series, please subscribe. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.